In this part, we will have a look to the request processing provided by the framework. We will first use the activation and passivation mechanisms. The activation allows to restore the internal status of a page thanks to the data available in the URL. We can implement a method for this step, and we will use the @onEven annotation with activate for the value parameter. We can pass some parameters to this kind of methods. In fact, the data available in the URL will be the parameters of our method. For example, if our URL contains just one parameter, 3, we will add a parameter to our method. Tapestry will automatically convert the URL's parameters into the right type. Then the passivation mechanism. As the activation, we'll be able to write a passivate method thanks to the @onEven annotation. In this method, we will just return all the data we want to put into the URL. This method will be called for each link to this page. For rendering a component, Tapestry will use a state machine made up of several parts. We will be able to implement all these states in our Java class. Tapestry offers different states. These states refers to annotations which may be associated to methods. These methods will be executed in the right order. This state machine is used to navigate between each state. If we return true, we move to the next state, otherwise we return to the previous state. It is not mandatory to implement all these methods. In this method, we can modify the generated DOM by using the markup writer object, but we prefer to write the template code in the template file because the DOM manipulation will cause some performance issues. This is an example of the state machine usage. Initialize value method will initialize two variables. The next methods test if a variable is lower than or equal to the variable end. If not equal, Tapestry returns false and processing returns to the begin order state. As no method is declared between these states, Tapestry loops back to the next method as the value is different. The setup render state will be used for reading some parameters or maybe calling your database in order to load some input to your form. If this method returns true, the begin render phase will be called, otherwise the cleanup render will be called. The cleanup render phase will be used in order to make some cleanup to our page. If it returns false, the setup render will be called. We have two ways for associate a method to these steps. The naming convention, we can use the name of the state for the method, or we can use an annotation and choose a better name for the method. We will be able to catch an action request in order to execute some Java methods. We just have to use the @onEven annotation with value the type of the request and component the TID of the sending component. The default value for the value parameter is action. If we do not specify the sending component, the annotated method will be executed for all the action requests. In our action method, we can return different kinds of data. We can return a page instance previously injected with the @injectPage annotation. The user will automatically be redirected to this page. We can also return a link value created by the component resource service, a stream response in order to return a binary content for a PDF, for example, or we can return a simple URL. If we return another kind of data, Tapestry will consider it as an error. Again, we can use a naming convention or an annotation. For example, if we want to use the naming convention, the structure of our method has to be on, then the type of the event, from, and finally the TID of the component. So for example, if we want to implement a method for an action event launched by the select component, our method will be onAction from select.